My first time on this thing. Here we are.
Sounds like a AA confession.
I'm just looking. I might have to. Hang on here. No, here we are. Video. Let me do that again. Video. Allow. Hey.
Boom. There you go. Now, Johnny, if you turn your phone to the side, you'll go widescreen. Boom.
That's better.
There you go. Good as gold, mate. Can you hear me all right?
Let's see if I can sit it down. Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, terrific.
Phone's in or out?
I'm always reluctant to say change once the audio is working, but we'll see how we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is it all right or better before?
I can hear myself though. I thought I sounded better than that.
Yes, I'll try this. Better? Can you hear you?
Two. No, that's good. I think.
Cool.
Awesome, mate. Well, thanks for hanging out.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
No, not at all. Whereabouts in the wonderful world are you?
Burleigh Heads, Queensland.
You're in the Goldie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Been up here, how long now? Just going on 5 years, I think.
Where were you before the Goldie?
Melbourne for 5 years.
Okay.
Perth for 2 years before that. Taree for 2 years before that. Canada before that. Sydney before that.
All right. So why? I'll just randomly pick one of those. Why Canada?
Canada. Well, that was 2001. I moved to Canada. Pretty much just because I wanted to. I'd been a personal trainer for 4 years at that point. I did it in '97, and I figured I'd pretty much taken over the industry here. So I tried to go to the US. That was the goal, but I couldn't get a green card. So I thought Canada next best thing. I did the working holiday visa and went over there and worked with Gold's Gym, and for a few years, yeah.
So like, because I've had that thought before as well, right? You know, Canada, it's right next door to the US, so it must be similar. Did you find that was the case?
Well, I hadn't spent much time in the States before I got to Canada, so I didn't really know what to measure it by. But there were a lot more clubs there, a lot more experienced people and stuff, so there was a lot more for me to learn, is what I felt at the time. And so that was cool. We did travel down to the States a bit as well, but I spent most of my time out there managing clubs, and it was a lot of fun. When
you say you went across to the States, I'm assuming you weren't allowed to stay for too long. What was the visitation rights, so to speak, back then?
It was just holidays. We, just go down we went to Pittsburgh, we went to Buffalo, we went to all these crazy places. I spent some time in LA as well. But this was this trip, and then but it was pretty much just work.
How long ago is this, mate?
I got back here in 2005 to Australia.
Why come back?
I came back on a holiday. I was actually looking to open a gym in Canada. That was the goal. And I was back here just visiting the family and stuff. And I told a friend of mine who was a real estate agent, I just wanted to look at some premises to just get some idea of square footage and sort of just do some research on what I was going to do back in Canada.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you want to do with it? I said, open a gym. He said, there's a lady selling a gym. So I went and had a quick look at it. And she wasn't asking much, but I offered a very low amount for it. And that was that. And we went off on a holiday, and we'll just travel it around. And she accepted the offer. So we were like, all right.
She said yes.
She said yes. So we ended up buying the gym. And I put a 2-year plan on that to just build it up. And we did that. And
wow.
So that's why I stayed. Yeah, so it was a big decision where I was like, I didn't really have plans to come back here, but that was just too good an opportunity to pass. You've
always been in gyms, I'm assuming?
Well, since '97, I was 20. How old am I now? 44. I don't even know what I was back then.
So long ago.
In my 20s. Yeah. Well, I've been in it 20 years now, so I must have been 24 when I started sort of getting in the fitness industry. Yeah. And it wasn't like it is now, obviously. Yeah, you've been in it for a while yourself, so you know.
Yeah, well, not so much these days, but like you, 700 years ago, I was had some gyms and personal training and stuff like that. And I've known Craig Harper for a long time. I'm assuming you probably know of Craig Harper.
Yeah, I met him a few times in Melbourne. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So he's always sort of been a bit of a mentor, and I'm glad he was. He's sort of kept me on the right path, not just in business and in gyms, but in life as well. So, but like from when you finished school, which is sort of 15, 16, 17 to 24, what were you doing in those early days?
I had no idea. I wanted to be a pro skateboarder. That was the goal. And
love it.
Yeah, I started a chef's apprenticeship. I was washing dishes through year 11 and 12, and I didn't want to go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just snuck into an apprentice chef position then. And I did that, skated all day. This was in Taree, is where I went to high school, and then I moved down to Newcastle because it was a bigger town, not too far. And
was skateboarding big in Taree?
There was there was the boys, we had the lads.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd get noticed more if I was in a bigger city and stuff. So I went down there, and it was just too much. I wasn't prepared to go down 40 stairs and do all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't as good as I thought I was, to be honest with you, Matt. So
you weren't as brave as you thought you were.
Yeah, well, I'd always been training, like at the gym. But yeah, so that was the goal. And then I didn't really like the chefing too much, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So just odd jobs, man. I made concrete pipes. I shoveled seed. I've done everything back then,
wow.
Just to earn a living and figure it out. And then it just occurred to me one day to become a PT. One of those ads, earn $60 an hour, doing what you love. Like, that sounds pretty good. So that's I've been there ever since. Yeah.
Got it. Were you a good student at school?
For a while, until I figured out how much fun you could have as well. Yeah, I tried for a long time, but then I don't know, it's more fun skating. And up until year 11 and 12, I went off and didn't focus so much. I think they were going to pull me back. They weren't going to let me do year 12 actually in year 11.
Why?
It was funny. Just terrible marks. But I also picked all the wrong subjects. It was funny. Like no one ever really. I thought I wanted to be an accountant back then, and my uncle was an accountant and he had a BMW. So I thought, shit, I want a BMW.
Yeah, I'll be an accountant.
I better become an accountant. Yeah, but I did it for work experience. Thought it was terrible. So so I did business studies, legal studies, economics, all these studies and all these subjects I wasn't terribly interested in. I really like business studies, but economics and legal studies not so much.
Yeah.
And so I did terrible.
It's funny, isn't it?
Like I wasn't interested in the classes. Yeah.
I'm very passionate about business, but I really have no time or passion or energy for admin or spreadsheets or that daily grind stuff. And I was always lucky enough to have people around me that were good at that. But it's just interesting. Like even now, I'm doing my Masters of Business, and there's all of that. There's spreadsheets, there's formulas, and it's like this isn't what business is for me. Do you find that?
Yeah, not at all. I've got an assistant who does all that stuff.
That's right.
For me now. Yeah, I just try and sell the shirts and be creative, and that's how I try and spend my days. And
exactly.
For the most part, I get away with it. Yeah.
And I don't want to fast forward to business just quite yet, but you definitely need all those different people with the different strengths and to sort of fill your weaknesses, right? I
believe so. Yeah, anything that I've sort of now, and it's taken me a while. It's funny though, with this particular business, when I first started out, I had a lot of time to do everything. You're not selling much stuff. You're not that busy. So you had a lot of time you had enough time to do the admin, to answer all the emails, to do all the stuff, because you're not selling many shirts, you're not having to do too much. But as the business grew, finding the time to then be creative and everything else, which is what I love, that's a sort of get less and less time. So that's when I had to bring someone in to sort of help out there. But that was a necessity. Could I have learned it? Yeah. Did I want to? Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Got it. What? When did you realize that after the skateboarding to the gym, when did you realize that you were happy to let the skateboarding go? You were happy to move on to the next chapter?
I still skate every day. I just pretty much just told myself, no, this isn't going to go
Did you ever
anywhere.
get to a point, like, was there sponsors? Was there,
I had a few sponsors, just, cheaper decks and just store sponsors, nothing substantial, that's for sure. But again, just my friends were just too good. And, every time you go skate, it was like a slap in the face. It's like, dude.
Another reminder, you're not quite there.
Else. Yeah, it's fun, but you're not going to make a living. Yeah, so
it's funny. I had that with rugby league. I got to a point when I was about 20, and I'd played some representative games, but I got to that point where I realised I'm not ever going to be at that next level. And I wasn't brave enough to go in for the big hits, and I wasn't big enough to wake up on Monday and feel okay. It was a realisation, and I guess I was no longer upset about it. I was happy to let that go.
Yeah.
Did you find that with the skateboarding?
Pretty much. I wasn't upset or anything. It was just a I don't know, just a realization, I suppose. And
was the gym around then, or did you sort of transition to that later?
I'd always been training. I've been going to the gym since year 8, since I was like 14, I think is the first time I ever went to the gym, and I'd always gone. I just enjoyed it. I was always better at these solo sports like gym, like skateboarding.
Doesn't play well with others.
Not at all. I tried. I was all right at soccer, but as long as I didn't have to,
pass
the ball. Exactly. Pretty much it.
Nice.
So it's been like that. That's why I think I love business so much. It's good. I can just do what I want. I've always been entrepreneurial. Just didn't actually realize it at the time.
Yeah, like I'm sure a lot of people don't. And even me doing, these qualifications, like some of the courses I go, I've done this. I didn't know the theory of it, but I did this 10 years ago,
Yeah.
You said you first went to the gym in grade 8. Why? Why did who introduced you to the gym?
My cousin. He was a year older than me, and he had pecs. And I was like, I want pecs.
I want them.
So that was that. We started going. I'd go every Wednesday night. He went twice a week, but I could only con my mum out of $5 a week to go to the gym for the casual membership. So I'd go every Wednesday night, and I did that for a while. And then I started doing it for school sport as well. So I was going twice a week, and so just went from there and just loved it. Read all the magazines. Yeah.
What do you think is the appeal? Because I can definitely relate to that. I remember the first time going to the gym, and I was going with a guy who was a couple of years older, and he was right into it. He had a back day, he had a back day, he had a chest day, he had a leg day, he had an ab day, all of it. And here it was my first time, and he's giving me this thing, and for the next week, I couldn't walk. I was like 95 years old going down the stairs, holding on to going down the stairs. But I immediately was hooked. And as soon as I could walk again, I went back and got into it, and made a career out of it for many years. What do you think it is that does that? Not just for the blokes, but for the ladies as well. What do you think it is that gets them, into that world?
Everyone. It's a community, whether you're. Anyway, I think everyone wants to be part of something like that, and it's perfect. You're working on your own goals, but at the same time, you're around people with similar goals and everything else. So, I think that's what really stuck me in. At the first time, obviously, I loved the magazines. I was big Sean Ray fans and all these guys, and I just thought, wow, look at these dudes, and so it's just the science of it too. I liked you were in control of everything, with nutrition, your training, and everything else. And I liked having that control, that you didn't have to rely on anyone else to do anything for you for that sort of sport, I think. And again, it's just the social aspect and hanging out with people with the same goals.
Exactly.
I loved it. Yeah, and for girls, I don't know. Maybe it's the same. There's a bit of competition as well. You're always trying to lift more. You're always trying to be shredded more than the other guy, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, that the team sport versus the individual sport. And the thing I like about individual sports is you can't rely on someone else.
Mm.
You know, so in golf, if I hit a crappy shot, I can't blame the
Yeah, you
other
blame the
guy.
club. Yeah, you throw the club in the dam, but yeah.
That's right. But in a game like soccer, I can have the worst game ever and still maybe win the game.
No, absolutely.
Because everyone else plays well, right? And I really I really like the fact that, you know, it does all fall onto you.
Or vice versa. You get the greatest game of your life and you get smashed, you know. I don't know. I had a lot of fights with my teammates in the locker room.
Why?
Terrible. I just, you know, I was just a smart ass, pretty much, you know. I wanted all the glory. I wanted all the goals. I don't know.
Are you a smart ass?
I don't know. Probably. At times. I don't really know what it is. Back then it was just, I just didn't care about the other guys. I wanted to score the goals. I wanted to, you know, do all that stuff. And again, if they weren't playing properly, I just got the shits and, you know, it was, and then we'd argue.
Got it. So tell me, when did this hobby of going to the gym and lifting heavy things, when did that first become, or at least in your head, the idea of I'm going to do this for a living?
Pretty much that advertisement. I just thought
$60 an hour.
$60 an hour. I was helping a lot of buddies back then. I was lifting a lot. Like that was pretty much, I was paying the bills with what I did for a living, but I wanted to compete. I was full on into the gym and stuff, and I was working with a lot of friends and stuff. I thought, shit, I could make some extra money, and it just went from there. And so the first job was at a desk. This was in the Blue Mountains in Springwood. Just working the desk at a gym, and I was in. That was that. So it just went from there. I didn't actually start PTing for probably 12 months later. Yeah.
So you competed in and around that time as well?
99 was the last time I competed. I only ever did 2 shows. And again, I don't know. I liked it, but I don't know. It was funny. It was just never what I really wanted to do. I think it was funny. Like I was really good at selling my PT to people, but then actually PTing them, I didn't like that so much. I wasn't too interested in all their problems and stuff. And you know, we still did the job. We still got the work done. But my passion was, I loved marketing. I loved selling the actual, the spots and doing that. And I was booking myself out. But yeah, I sort of, and then it just occurred to me, I prefer this.
Got it. I don't want to step over that because that's definitely, I'm interested in the next step, but I'm also interested in why you only did 2 shows. Was it like I know lots of people that have been in that position, and there's, you know, you've got to be right on top of the food. You've got to be right on top of the training, the rest, and then, you know, the presentation on the day and the tanning and all of that. What was it that you didn't enjoy so much?
Nothing. I think, I moved not long after that. And, I just got stuck into business. I think still trained, but I don't know. The steroids and the not steroid associations had a bit to do with it, because most of the guys in the non-tested associations were on steroids. I'm like, do I do steroids? Do I not do steroids? Do we, you know, all those sorts of things. That's pretty much what it came down to. And then, you know, having to step up. My height played a factor, believe it or not, because it is a bit of a height game with weight divisions and stuff. You know, I'd be competing against guys 4 inches taller, and they're just so much bigger, and 4 inches shorter, and so much bigger. And it's just, and I did enjoy it, but again, it didn't, you know what I mean? Like I just didn't love it, like love it. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was passionate about, that's for sure. Back then too, I'd actually started a clothing brand then.
I
was just mucking around, And
what was that? What was that called?
It was called Calves, CALVSES, Calves Clothing.
Calves.
Because I've always had good calf muscles. So I had a big plan to make these shorts that were going to be, you know, the big thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is like 99, 2000 maybe. Nah, would have been earlier. And but it never took off. There was no social media or anything like that back then. I had no money either, so that didn't help. But
did you sell any?
Yeah, I sold a few T-shirts, but they were just dodgy ones that we made. You know, the guy uses the printer, sort of like the laser at the mall.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been expensive too, right, for you?
Yeah, I think
To
they were
produce them.
$20 a pop. Yeah, but I love that. I just love that creative side, and that's what I was always thinking about. Like just that side of thing. But again, it didn't occur to me that was what I really wanted to do. So it was.
Did you ever experiment? Did you ever experiment with steroids during that time?
Oh, of course, yeah. No, we nothing like what the guys do, but yeah, definitely.
Just for the comp and getting to that sort of size that you needed to.
Well, again, I didn't really know what they did. I was hanging out with some guys who were using them and stuff, and they'd sort of help you out and give you some tips. But yeah, I ended up just getting all watery and fat.
Mate, I can do that without the drugs.
I know, right? Well, strong as an ox, that's for sure. Yeah.
What was the first time doing that like? Was that a scary?
It's funny. I was actually thinking about this the other day when the first time was. I had no idea what I was doing, in terms of where to put it, how big a pin, a needle, all those sorts of things. Yeah, you sort of just go off what other people tell you and become a contortionist and try and stick these things in your bum and have no idea. But yeah, it was a scene.
How old were you then?
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, about that 27, 28-year-old, maybe a bit earlier. Yeah.
Okay. So after calves, didn't quite do what you wanted it to do.
It didn't take off. It might come back yet. FKN calves.
That's
still
right.
Got calves. I've still got calves. So
there you go. Well, what just kept doing the PTing after that, or?
No, I actually got into membership sales. I much preferred it. I love the selling. So I sort of ditched PT and got into membership sales, and that's what got me to. That's essentially I figured that out when I was in Canada. I just started out there. I wanted to work at Gold's Gym. I just rocked up. They had a job for a membership salesperson. I thought I'll give that a crack. Yeah, and just killed it, man. I think my best was 22 in a row. Like closed 2-year deals or something, and I became like superstar of the company and all this sort of stuff. And ended up they offered me the management job, so I had my own club, and I think that was in like 6 months from just starting out in sales.
And this would have been before direct debits and the $10 a week memberships, right? It was lump sum.
Oh no, they had direct debits back then. That was 2001. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was I think but we're allowed to do 2-year memberships back then, so I don't think you can anymore. Don't know, but we'd lock them in on that, and so that I really loved that side of it. And then I got into the management of the business. I didn't like that. It was funny. I didn't like having to manage the staff and the rosters and all that. I just wanted to sell memberships.
Just wanted to sell and market.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so I didn't actually do that well as a gym manager.
And that's when you came back to Oz, bought this cheap gym. What was that called?
Health for Her. It was a ladies only gym.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and this was long before.
Did you keep it that way?
Yeah, we did, and it did great. It was funny. We bought it. It had no direct debit. It had nothing. It was pretty much a room with some stuff in it, and we just filled it up. Got straight on the direct debit, pretty much brought everything back, we'd learned in Canada and just put that into place and just murdered it. It was crazy. We just had a goal. We wanted 100. We wanted 100 members like on direct debit. And we did that in like a month or something, less than a month, from zero. And we built it up really good. And I loved that whole system. I thought it was great. Getting, I think we were charging $40 a month or something at the time. And we're like, we get $4,000 a month just for turning up. It was great. So no, we like that. And then obviously it just blew up. We ended up selling that to another couple, and they ended up selling it to Curbs, and it became Curbs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
got it.
That's when they were just sort of coming up. So
how long did you have that gym for?
Just over 2 years. We put a 2-year plan on it because it was in Taree, which is where my mum was living at the time. And I was just there visiting my mum.
Yeah,
I had no intention to
that's
live
where
there,
you grew up, right?
Pretty much. I went to high school there. I was actually born in Newcastle. We moved up there later. So I think I was actually there for 9 years. So I don't know. I always say it's where I grew up just because that's where I went to high school and stuff. But Yeah, I left there pretty quickly after high school, mind you. But yeah, we were there 2 years, and it was funny because I did these. I was really active on the forums, the bodybuilding forums and stuff back then, and I was speaking with, funnily enough, that Sean Ray that I mentioned earlier. He was a bit of an idol, and he was doing these muscle camps in different spots across the US, taking professional bodybuilders, doing these day camps and teaching people everything. I was just talking to him. I said, we should do this in Australia. And him and I ended up working out a deal, and I did those in Australia with him and a bunch of other guys.
Wow.
And I just made I made a lot of connections when I was doing that. We had sponsors for the event and everything else. And one of the sponsors was Nutrition Systems, who was BPG Imports back then, and they were Muscle Tech, BSN, all that stuff. And so once I sold the gym, I was like, I'm going to go work for those guys. So yeah, moved out to Perth. And that's why I went to Perth, because that's where they were based at the time. Yeah.
Was that a, I don't want to say the word scary, but was it a daunting time for you after selling the gym and then going, geez, I wonder if this next chapter is going to pay off?
Yeah, I sort of regretted selling it. I remember saying to myself, I was cleaning the bathrooms one day, just saying, I'm cleaning bathrooms, but I love this. You know, this is my bathroom.
It's my bathroom.
Exactly. You know, I love
clean that toilet.
my own business. Exactly. No one's going to do it better. And I loved it. I loved having my own business. And the goal was to become a rep. And I thought that'd be fun, get a paycheck, drive around all day. And so that's why I moved out to try and get that gig with those guys, and ended up getting it, which was good. And I worked with them for around 2 years, I think, all up. They actually are the ones who moved me to Melbourne. So yeah, I kind of outgrew Perth. After about 2 years, I was a bit far from the family, a bit far from everywhere out there. And I loved Perth. I've got really good friends still back there, but yeah, an opportunity came to take on the Melbourne gig, so I moved to.
So you did. When you left Canada and you bought the gym in Taree, did you not? Because you obviously were just coming over there for a holiday. Like, was there ever the goal to go back to Canada?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I was actually married to a Canadian girl at that time, and
when you came for the holiday.
Yes.
And you just never went back?
No, she ended up immigrating here. We bought the gym, and she became a permanent resident here instead. So
got it. So she ran the gym with you? Yes.
Yeah, she was pretty much the face of the gym, being a ladies-only club.
Got it.
And yeah, I stayed in the background. So I did classes. It was funny. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's just a small town thing, but you know, we shut it at 6 o'clock at night. It was great. And I just do PT after hours and do classes and stuff. I'd been doing a bit of kickboxing and stuff when I was away. So I just teach, you know, these made up boxing classes I did. And they were really popular, and it was a lot of fun. But I was the cleaner and all those things. Yeah. But she was pretty much the face of the gym. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Still with that lady?
No. We actually, we ended that when we sold the gym. That was actually most of the reason why I didn't keep the gym. We sort of just settled out and sold it, and we went our separate ways. Yeah.
What was the biggest distance there for you with your ex-wife?
With relationship? Or?
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge there in your eyes?
Nothing really. It was a pretty rushed marriage, you know, and you know, we were better friends, you know, to be honest. And that's pretty much. We're still friends.
You still chat to her?
Very, very occasionally. I haven't for a long time. But if I ran into her, yeah, we'd be cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, she's all right. I think she's got kids and everything now. Yeah,
good one.
Funny. Yeah.
That's great, man. Okay, so you moved to Melbourne. By now, you've been to both sides of the country and here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
When did you say I want to get into this? I want to try the clothing thing again.
Again, that was an accident. I'd finished up with Nutrition Systems, and I was working with Flush Fitness, who was doing. They were probably the bigger one at that time. They'd kind of come in, steamrolled everyone. So I was their social media manager, and I don't know. I was right into the gym. I think I was thinking about competing again and doing all those sort of stuff, and I just wanted to make my own clothes. I'm pretty. I don't know what it is. I don't like supporting things that I'm not into, and I always had this thing. It was like, if you're a surfer, you wear Quicksilver wetsuit and you go surfing in your Quicksilver wetsuit. Then you get out, you go for coffee, you put on a Quicksilver shirt. With the gym, it was like you put on your black and blue or whatever it was gym shirt, and then you go for coffee. I see plenty of guys wearing black and blue for coffee, but they probably shouldn't. But you know, like you had to put on a Quicksilver shirt.
No, but for the girls, it's like Lorna Jane things, and they wear it.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, there was no Lorna Jane or anything back then, and so I thought I'm going to make my own shirts, and that's what I did. So I just made up a design, and I got it done at the mall. Back to the thing, but at that time, yeah, there was social media and stuff, and I got this one made up at the mall. We were at the time, Flush was doing a big stand at Filex.
Yeah,
I think it's still called Filex, but and we brought out a few athletes. One of them was Dorian Yates, who was like a six-time Mr. Olympia and stuff, and he was working with us promoting his supplement range. And he saw my shirt, and he said, "That's awesome. Send me one.
I want one."
And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome coming from him, you know.
Yeah.
And so that
what
was
did
that.
the shirt say?
Said fucking lift.
As in
FKN lift. Yeah. Which is what it stands for. I get asked a lot, what's it stand for? Does it stand for what I think? And I'm like, yeah, it totally does. But I told my mum for the longest time, she's like, what's FKN? I said, fitness, knowledge, nutrition. Yeah. She actually, the only
there's a mum version.
Otherwise, yeah, she's the FKN mum. People say, you're the FKN mum. But it was funny. They caught on to it. But it doesn't, it's not how it came about. I mean, it stands for those things as a core principle of the business, but it's not what FKN stands for.
Yeah.
So
when you were chatting to Dorian about it, how many shirts did you have at the time?
One. I had one shirt.
Just that one that you made at the mall?
I wore it a lot on that shirt.
It's every day.
Every day. Yeah, same shirt. But
and was that the goal though? Even from that one shirt, was that the goal to expand?
No. I was loving working at Flush. I was having a great time. Like I said, I was a social media manager. I got to just do their newsletters and post on Facebook all day. I loved that job. And
had that social media experience just come from running the gym and doing the rep stuff and all of that, or where did that come from?
Well, it actually goes back to the promotion I was doing with Sean Ray, the muscle camps. Yeah. I ended up covering those for the magazines. Well, I ended up writing a bunch of editorial in the lead up to promote the camps themselves for the magazine. And they just liked my writing. Well, this is great. And I actually enjoyed writing them. And then I covered the camps for them, did all the photography and stuff. And then a girl I was dating at the time, she did blogs. And this is, we were back on Blogger back then. And she showed me that. And I thought, this is great. We just ended up writing and doing all that sort of stuff. And I just ended up getting really, I loved it. I loved having that medium to let out information and cover the events and do all that sort of stuff. It was a lot of fun. And and ended up, it's funny, like there's so many things, Matt. But yeah, it all comes back. I did business coaching for a while with some people. And that came from my experiences with the membership sales and the PT sales and all those sorts of things. And I ended up
so you yourself were the coach?
Yes. Yeah. It was called My Business is Fitness. And I ran that for a while. And it was pretty much, starting all that out and just how to sell. And then I just sort of figured out social media and then how to use that to promote your brand and your business as well and your services. And I don't know. I taught myself into the gym. It was like PT, Matt. Mm-hmm. I loved selling it, but
you're a salesman, Johnny. Do you realize that?
Yeah, it's funny. Like you have some clients, same as PT, who are just passionate and they do exactly what you say, and they get great results and stuff. And it's the same in business coaching. And then you have some people who are just looking for something to blame for why they're not succeeding. And I just didn't like being that guy. That was pretty much it, I think.
I get that 100%. And considering we're talking about social media, I'll mention this because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I went through a big stage where, I was doing the how-to kind of social media posts or the the better ways to live your life, and how to be accountable and how to stay accountable, and all of that. And I did it for a long time, and it kind of got to a point where I realized that there's lots of Facebook gurus out there, and
everybody.
100%. And I just thought, I don't think I'm being part of the solution. I think I'm being part of the problem. So, I distanced myself from all of that personal development stuff, both me giving it and also receiving it. I kind of got to a point where I realized that at the end of the day, it's just doing what I know works consistently day in, day out, regardless of results, regardless of anything else. If you know you're on the right path, just as you would say, just fucking keep doing it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And that's what I've done. And especially with this, little tiny thing called Coffee Chats, and it was just me talking to people. And now I've got a radio show and now a podcast, and lots more people listen to it than it used to be just me and my mum. And I said that to my mum once, and she goes, "I don't listen to it." So it was just me. But so just keeping the path, and you would know this better than so many other people, but staying to what you know works, because eventually the results will show, right?
Absolutely. I think, and just staying true to yourself and doing what you do, as soon as you try and, copy someone else or whatever, there's tips, there's obviously, different tools and things like that you can use that people can help you with. But at the end of the day, you've got to create your own content, and it's got to come up, from you and I don't know, from yourself. Otherwise, you can only pretend to be someone else for so long, and then you lose interest. If you're doing your thing, people will come around,
Exactly.
Eventually, yeah, they'll tell their person. There's people like us, who have the same sense of humor or the same whatever it is, and they come about, and then they tell their friends.
Yeah,
it grows.
true.
Yeah.
After that conversation with Dorian Yates, the 6-time Mr. Olympia, was that daunting, or was that awesome, or what? Where was your head at then, or had you spent a bit of time with him?
I think that was the second time I've met him. Because I was the social media manager, I worked with him quite closely at the event itself.
Got it.
And so we had a bit of back and forth. But we were headed to the gym. We're going to work out. And when he said that, first thing I did was check to see if anyone else heard. And my buddy Chris did. I was like, "Do you hear that? He thinks my shirt's fucking good." So that was pretty much that. Yeah.
And is that? Sorry.
You go, mate.
I was just going to say, and is that when you said, this FKN thing is viable? Kind of.
Again, I'd never started out to start a clothing brand or anything else. A lot of people, they come out and they have their savings or whatever else, and they're like, "I'm going to start a clothing brand." And I never had that, ever. I started out just creating content with my shirts on people. Like I said, I'd been doing some photography, I've been writing and stuff, and I had some mates who are in great shape. I asked them to wear the shirts. I took some pictures. I made up some quotes, and which was just my principles on training itself, which was the core of the initial shirt, which was FKN Lift, which is essentially, there's no secrets, there's no shortcuts, just fucking lift. That's pretty much what the brand's about.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much that's what I was putting forward through the brand. That was the core message of the time. It's just lift. And so I put up some stuff, and it was funny. I'd been doing things for other people, like I was saying with the coaching, and I was really working hard to get people to catch on to it. This FKN Gym Wear, well, actually, I had called it that by then. I didn't actually have a name for it at first. It was just a shirt that said "fucking lift." I didn't come up with a brand name, but the page just started going off. The pictures just started getting likes, and it wasn't a lot of effort. People just got it straight off the bat. It was a very clear message. Obviously, it was what it was, and I was just like, wow. I just knew straight away that people got it, and it was worth spending some time on it. When to pull the pin. I think that's the success of any. That's the trait of any successful entrepreneur, is when to pull the pin, start the next thing. And this was just sort of telling me, have a crack.
What year is that?
Well, 2010. Yeah, about 2010, later 2010. That first shirt, that actual expo was in March 2010. I think that's when Filex is, March, April, whenever it is. And that first shirt wasn't far before then. And then, I just started the Facebook page. I actually just got more shirts made of them all. I got some shirts made for friends.
The same guy.
And just giving them away. Yeah. I probably didn't actually get my first shirts professionally printed till 12 months later. Yeah, I was just having fun creating the content. I didn't start a clothing brand. I was just enjoying writing, doing the photos and stuff like that.
What's been actually? Let me ask this one first. So from then, and you got a few shirts done for your mates to now. Like, what sort of business are we talking about now versus what it was back then?
Oh, it wasn't a business then. Now it's a business with employees and distributors and all that sort of stuff. So then it was just some T-shirts out of a spare bedroom, and it was just fun, out of the trunk of my car. I didn't even come up with another design idea. I just like, I'll do the same thing on a singlet. That was my idea of expansion, just the same shit but on a different shirt.
Just take the sleeves off.
Yeah, it's got the sleeves on it. Let's go that way. Yeah, so that was that. And again, I made a bodgy. It was funny. I found this blogger. I was pretty good at the blogger platform because I built a bunch of blogs and stuff like that. And I managed to find this template for an e-commerce type site, and I built this thing myself. And it was shit, but it worked. It was just linked up through PayPal, and it was just pictures of the shirt. Buy here. And I was selling
that was
for $50 a
essentially
pop.
where people bought the shirts from, this dodgy site you set up.
Yeah, I wasn't dodgy. The site was legit to work, but it was ugly. And
that's the word I meant, ugly. Sorry, I didn't mean dodgy.
I think I used the word bodgy. It was bodgy as in it was, it was ugly. It was pretty basic. I didn't have any money, but so I did that and just out of the trunk of my car. That was pretty much it. And
what I've gotten all through this chat, Jonny, is that you don't mind giving stuff a go, whether you've got the knowledge about it or whether you've got any money for it. You'll just go, let's just do this and see what happens.
Pretty much.
Is that a fair statement?
It's very fair. It's like when I moved to these places, I didn't have any jobs waiting for me. And when I moved to Canada, when I borrowed some money off my mum and off I went, and let's see what happens. And I had skills. I knew I'd do well. I was hungry and passionate about it. Same as when I went to Perth, I didn't have anything waiting for me there. I got there. I got off the plane, booked into a backpackers. My car arrived the next day. I drove to every restaurant in town, got a job as a pizza cook that night, worked there for, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. And then I managed to get into the place I wanted to, just work in the gym reception and then just work my way up there. I just do what I got to do,
Do you think that's been a big reason why you have been successful?
I mean, it's attributed to my success and failures, that's for sure. I try a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't, but it's funny. My most successful garments, I suppose, are the ones that I've just thought were funny, not the ones I've created that I think will sell. Anything I think will sell generally doesn't. They sell eventually, but it doesn't take off. Like my whole thing's always been, I don't actually launch products, so to speak. I'll put them on the website. Like I'll create it, I'll have them manufactured, I'll take the images and I'll stick them on the website. And I'll just see how they go. Our website gets a lot of traffic, so people see the new stuff. And I just see if they start selling straight from the website before I've mentioned anything. All right, this is where I'll invest my time. This is what I'll promote. Because the people sort of tell you what to invest your time in.
The one that stood out for me was the lazy T-shirt.
Yeah.
has that been a successful one for you?
Dude, I think there might be one Instagram post on that shirt and I sold out of them. Yeah. I was actually talking about it today. Because I'm actually doing a whole new range. Most of it's in now for the men. The women's is coming in over the next few weeks. But I'm like, I got to do this lazy one again. Like I said, I did one Instagram post, I think.
Where did that shirt come from? Where did the idea for that come from?
Again, I just liked I just thought it was funny, walking around with giant arms and
You're
hanging out of a shirt that says lazy. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. And yeah, I guess
and it worked.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I just thought that was great. Yet I spent so much time with this other shirt. I thought people would love it, but no. I've had to work hard to get rid of them. Well, not get rid of them, but to promote it and let people know what it's about and stuff, and to move the shirt. But some stuff people they get it straight up, and it's true to the brand. It says what it's meant to say, and people like that. So it's good fun. I try again. That's what I was saying before about no one will quit. It's like, because some people get stubborn and they'll just pump all this money into something that they're having to work so hard to sell. Or same thing can be said in life. You're working so hard for something in a relationship, whatever it is. You just got to know when to get the hell out, and try something new.
But sometimes you don't know how hard it is until you get out. Is what I've found.
Yeah. Well, you still got to invest it and have a crack, But the cool thing about clothes is they don't go out of date, so that's one cool thing. They'll always move eventually. People will like it, just not as many as I'd hoped.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely. I'll definitely. I had a look at the order form to get the lazy shirt, but you didn't have any mediums.
No, I think they're all gone. There might be a couple of giant ones and maybe a couple of no. There's no small ones. A lot of girls bought the size small because they're like, "Dude, a girl's shirt." I'm like,
that's right.
I didn't know you'd like it, and so I think there's only some giant ones left.
I'll need to work on. Yeah, I need to work on the guns.
Get the guns out, bro.
Right.
No, it's so you like that one?
I did. Yeah. That definitely spoke to me. Mate, I'm interested. What's been some of the bigger mistakes that you've made with FKN?
I take it very personally. Like, the brand is really close to me. In a way that it's my voice as well. Like, the brand, it's a side of me. It's not everything, but it's a big part of, as I said, that my core principles and stuff will reflect in the brand, working hard and chasing your dreams and not listening to other people, and so that can sometimes get in the way and can, I won't post content. I'm so, I don't know what the word is, like, just very, perfectionist. I won't post content for days because I'm not happy with anything I have. I'll do a photo shoot and never use one photo.
Wow.
Because I'm just not happy with any of them. They don't say what I want them to say. And I've tried getting other people to do my content for me, but the voice never comes across. The brand just isn't there. So for me, in terms of the mistakes, thinking that other people could do it, and just
Is that hard to do? Like, you'd say that's your voice and it's your baby and it's a thing that you started with nothing. Like, is that hard to delegate some of the jobs to other people?
Not the administrative stuff, that's for sure. Hey,
they can have that.
All day, yeah. No, I have people help out with the packing and those sorts of things. I still get out there from time to time and help out with that. I like it, actually. You just sort of zone out and pack the orders, and I'm grateful for every order that comes through. We write thank you on every order that goes out because we're legit appreciative of that.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's funny, I actually was going to hire someone, and the position, I call it creative director, and they were going to be responsible for the shoots, pretty much all the social media, all that sort of stuff. I created this JD, this job description, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I want to do that.
I'll take that job.
I did that job. Yeah, I was like, that's the job I want. So I got rid of everything that I'd put down for myself. I don't even remember what it was anymore, what I was going to do, but it was boring. So, so I'm the creative director.
Oh, that's good, man. I hope you gave yourself a pay rise too.
And I'm on noodles.
What's the long-term goal? Like, do you have goals to go bigger, or where are you at?
Yeah. As I said, my thing has always been, like, I have a proven concept. The tricky part is just getting in front of more people. If I invented, I don't know, pizza, we know it's great. You just got to get it in front of as many people as you can. So more people try it, more people get onto it. And that's kind of where I'm at with FKN at the minute, was, really investing a lot of time internationally with the States and Europe and things like that, and putting strategies together for that, to grow it that way. As I said, it's a proven concept. We know people will like the garments. We just got to get them in front of more people. We have that much data behind us. We know what sells. We know. So that's the plan moving forward. I'm actually in the process, as I said, of launching the whole new men's range, with some different branding, some more subtle garments. One of the not complaints, a lot of people tell me, I love your gear, I just can't wear it, because some of the stuff is so loud. But so I've actually put together a few more pieces that are a bit not as in your face, and then they're moving really well. People have sort of, got what I'm trying to do there, so that's cool.
At what point do you, it's great to listen to feedback, and even the fact you're getting feedback is a great thing. I think a lot of small businesses forget that, feedback is an awesome thing to get. But at what point do you, being so attached to the brand and what the business is, do you go, well, actually, this is what the brand is, so I'm not going to change it?
No, it kind of comes across, I think, in the message. A lot of the time, the feedback I get is generally, I've created that response. I love what we were saying before about being a smartass. I'm quite happy to put up stuff that'll trigger people. I love that sort of stuff.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, yeah, I had a crack at, this macros diet thing, what they call it, if it fits your macros.
Yeah.
That was a thing. I don't know if it still is. It probably is, but it was
last week.
It was a thing. It finished last week.
It's back to the grapefruits now.
No, I dropped a thing. All I saw, like I said, as I said all along, there's no secrets. It's just hard work, and it is what it is. Eat some chicken, eat some broccoli, go to the gym, call it a day. But all I was seeing were these people eating cake, and no one was in shape. I never saw one person going, if it fits your macros, who was shredded. So I made up this post that says something about macros as just an excuse to eat cake or something like that. And people lost their minds. I had the whole community. I even had the guy who invented it write on my post. We were laughing. It was hilarious. Yeah. But I was happy with that.
Yeah. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Oh, I didn't give a shit. Yeah, it's hilarious to me. I love it, man. I've had death threats. I've had people, all sorts of stuff.
Over what?
Yeah. I don't know, just death threats. I had one, it was a chick, and she was holding up a piece of paper with a knife or something. I can't remember. It's pretty rough. But,
over one of your shirts?
I don't know. Yeah, just a thing. So,
do you think that FKN Gym Wear would have worked in, say, the 80s?
I don't know. If I had a mustache, maybe. But there weren't many models around. There was a lot of muscle. Was there bodybuilders with mustaches? Would it have worked?
And what I mean, Jonny, there is that that word, and even though we're not saying fuck, but FKN obviously alludes to that, and you've said that's essentially what it is. If you were to say that 37 years ago, that would have been, huge, right?
Probably. I still would have done it if I was around and thought of it. I wouldn't have not done it. Whether it would have turned into what it is, I don't know, but it may have. I mean, what was around then? The 80s. There was some cool stuff. There
was Harper color shirts and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. I just mean more so from a from the censorship side of things.
Mate, I mean, I still have problems. We have some communities in Sydney who can't stock my brand just because of what's on it. And I've had people say that they can no longer stock the brand because they would literally get people walking off the street and cuss them out for stocking it and stuff. Yeah. But that's what I mean. I didn't start a clothing brand. I started a movement in my mind. I started an attitude. That's what I started.
What's that attitude?
Just like I said, just fucking do what you got to do. It is what it is. Get on the phones if it's business. Get into the gym if it's lifting. Eat the chicken and broccoli if it's dieting. Whatever it is, You just have to do what you have to do. And that's been the business all along, and my principles all along. And that's what comes through in the brand. The brand is just an extension of me. As I said, the T-shirts are just merch to the attitude of the brand. It's not. I'm not trying to reinvent you know, the greatest clothing brand. It's a T-shirt. You know, they're good fitting, good quality shirts, but it's a T-shirt. You know, I love them, but I always feel people, when they're wearing it, they feel that attitude. They feel empowered by it, and they feel a part of the brand, the company that we've built. So that's that's always been the core message.
I like that. Last night when we were chatting, and I signed off with FKN Study, which is essentially what, you know, you've just that's the attitude, right? I just needed to. I was procrastinating. I was talking to you. I was doing other things. I was on YouTube. I should have just been. I should have just been fucking studying, right?
I think they call it a flow state these days. Which is a cool thing. I love that. But it's pretty much it, man. Just fucking do it. And yeah, that is it. That's the brand.
Anything else? Anything else is just the story that you tell yourself, right? You know, just do the work. Yeah. The excuses or whatever it is that says that you can't do it. You know,
at least try. That's what I'm saying. And I've always just tried. I'll just try this. I'll try that. I'll move here. I'll try this place. I'll just keep trying until something sticks. It's something I really like. Something I'm passionate about. You know, and I love this too, that I have a channel to actually get that out to people, you know, and that's why I'm writing more now with the blogs. And actually people have told me all along, they're like, dude, you need to put yourself out there a bit more. That's another reason I agreed to doing this. I've always sort of stayed in the shadows, try to let the brand do the talking, but I think I can reach more if it's coming from me, not a T-shirt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a business mentor, like a well-known business person out there that you see as a bit of a mentor?
I watch a lot of stuff like that. I don't know. No one in particular. I mean, the person, it's funny, like Dorian Yates was the one who kind of got me over the line that I might be onto something, or at least convinced me. People were telling me it was a cool shirt, but until Dorian Yates told me, I didn't pay much attention.
You didn't listen, yeah.
I didn't really listen. And that was, as I was saying, with the those muscle camps, I was with Sean, we were talking on the phone, and I'm like, Sean, where do we start? He's like, dude, just start selling fucking tickets. I'm like, fair enough. So I just started selling tickets, and that sort of stuff has always stuck with me. You know, it's like, just fucking do it. And I thought that's the best advice he could have given me. He could have told me, well, we're going to start a Facebook page, and then we're going to go here and then do this. No, just start fucking selling tickets, and then the rest will develop from there. So
I've
always, I sort of stick with that. In terms of, I mean, I draw inspiration from a lot of weird places. I watch a bit of, is it Sinek at the minute? I like a bit of his stuff.
Simon Sinek, yeah?
Yeah, I'm watching a little bit of his stuff. He's all right. I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. Like, I just love his attitude, and the guy's just, I'm like excited for the future because of this guy.
Exactly.
It's crazy. I love it. So just people who are, you know, saying something different, saying it's not even different. A lot of things you can just relate to. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You just need someone to say it, to hear it sometimes as well. So yeah.
When you mention someone like Elon Musk, do you have any out there ideas that go through your head?
Sort of. I think in different ways within this industry. I mean, I did shoes. That was pretty crazy. I did a pre-workout, like a nutritional thing that I thought was really good. I did it because it didn't have any fillers. The base was an amino acid and all those sorts of things. And I actually I sold out of it before I'd given away all the samples. So I ended up with half a box of samples still and no product. So I ended up drinking all those, but because it went really well. It was awesome. But I did shoes, which have gone really well.
Why stop doing the pre-workouts?
I liked it, but I don't know. It was a creative experience to make it in the first place, and I was again using my knowledge. These are the things that you want to have. You know, it doesn't have to do a million things. It just has to. This is what it needs to do: give you energy and have some good stuff behind it. And then it kind of bored me after that. You know, with the clothes, like, there's so much more detail, so much more I can do with them, so much more ways to promote, so many more ways to promote them. You know, they're just more fun. So I think that's pretty much why I lost interest. I was like, it was a lot of fun to do. We did some cool stuff. I got in trouble with the Advertising Standards Commission because I did a video. Matt, we had a girl in lingerie.
I've seen some of your girls, mate. They're very impressive.
we tipped some of the pre-workout on the desk, and she had a credit card, and she was like making it into lines. Well, she didn't actually make it in lines. She made it into FKN, the letters FKN. So it wasn't lines; they were crooked lines.
Yeah,
Anyways, we made a video of that, and yeah, I ended up getting in trouble. I had to pull that off everything.
You got attention.
Had too many clients. Yeah. It was funny. The lady at the advertising status thing actually thought it was pretty clever and funny, but yeah. She said, no, it's got to go. Yeah. But they're quite reasonable. I mean, I got sued by Nike.
I wanted to ask you about that. Tell me about that.
I'm actually writing a full thing on it at the minute. It's actually a lot more writing than I thought. I did a shirt called, I did a shirt, and it was, you know, the Jordan logo, the guy jumping through the air. Anyways, I was watching
Jordan,
yeah, it's awesome. I love that. And I was watching Fantasy Factory, Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory. It's a program on MTV. And there's a guy in a big black. And anyway, he has a clothing range, the big black clothing range. And he had a version of that. He's a massive guy, like really overweight, big guy. But he had this really overweight, big guy version of the Jordan logo on his shirt. And I thought that was hilarious. I thought, wait a minute. Imagine if that was a bodybuilder. And to me, it was easy. I contacted my graphic designer. I said, dude, I changed it around a bit. I put him in shorts. He was huge, you know, made him really big and stuff. And my graphic designer sent it back. I did, nailed it. Printed off some shirts. And it sold so well, man. It was unbelievable. And,
and Nike saw it.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know what happened there. But, yeah, it's always sketchy. People around, but yeah, they saw it. I got sent some letters. My retailers got sent letters. That was what actually freaked me out the most. My retailers got threatened. Obviously, I didn't want anything to happen to those guys, so we sort of sat down and came to an agreement after that. And yeah, that was a thing.
Wow.
But it was funny. I was speaking to a PR company after the fact, and they were like, "Dude, we could have done some fun shit with that."
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you call us? Yeah.
You still can, right?
We are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a thing. I mean, yeah, to get sued by Nike. I mean, the building I'm in now used to be Quicksilver. I'm in Quicksilver's old offices. Like, I took that over 2 years ago. 2 years ago now. Yeah. So this is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
And how are they going? I heard they're in trouble. Quicksilver and Billabong. I heard they're going the wrong way.
I have no idea. Probably. I mean, I know they bought a lot of stuff though. So maybe they overextended. Who knows? I know they bought Element, a whole bunch of other brands, but I don't know who did. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even know who the other brands are in my niche. I don't follow anyone on Instagram. I don't give a shit. I've always said Rage Against the Machine doesn't care what Taylor Swift's doing, so I don't give a fuck what they're doing. You know?
That's gold.
Pretty much it. It's funny because people always say, "Oh, have you seen this?" Nope, and I don't care. Yeah.
So are you Rage or Taylor?
Fucking Rage. Sometimes a little Taylor though.
I was gonna say, come on.
Yeah.
I think she's a very smart woman.
Oh no, she's awesome. Yeah, not hating. I'm just talking about the music. I'm not a fan of her music. She's awesome. The music, not so much.
Yeah, got it.
But no, so yeah, I don't. Yeah, tons of stuff, man. So many things.
Wow. I hope you got a book coming out at some stage.
I've been talking into that as well. I don't know where I'd start. And it's I don't know where it'd end actually. I figured out the title, but that's as far as I've got.
What's the title? Fucking read this.
There you go. Read this. Soft cock. Yeah, I don't know. Something.
But if there's a 15, 16, 17-year-old listening to this and he's got that entrepreneurial mind, he maybe doesn't even know it yet, or she, what would your advice be to someone in that position? Just
start selling tickets, whatever it is. Just fucking
start selling.
Just start doing it. Just start, man. That's the thing. Like, you don't need a lot of money to start. I was talking to a guy the other day, a younger guy, wants to start a pajama clothing brand. Shout out to Dan. But I don't know, he's been talking to all these people and they're telling him things like, well, you got to go to China and you got to do this and you got to do that. I'm like, dude, just fucking get some trackies, send them to China, get some samples. You have a clothing brand now. That's it. Off you go. It's not rocket science, you know. The same with anything. The supplement company, you know, it cost me $800 or something to start that. There's nothing, you know. It's $800. It's not nothing, but it's not. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need all these things. You don't need to buy all this advertising space now. It's all out there for free. You just if you're passionate, people will get onto it, man. If your message is clear and you're not scared to say what you think and feel, just do it. I think that's what holds people back. It's just that fear of being candid and being a bit transparent about who they are, because that's what the brand is. It's got to be your core message, and just don't be scared of shit. Don't be scared, homie.
Yeah, and it's so true, right? Like here I am on the back end of a master's business qualification, and it really is, at the end of the day, you can get all the quals and knowledge you want, but until you take that step forward and prepared to fall over lots of times, you're not going to be successful, right?
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. And the trick is knowing when to quit it. Like, some things just aren't going to work. It's as simple as that, and you just have to realize, and ego can play into it, and people won't quit because of ego. They think they're failures or whatever the hell it is. Just stop and start the next thing. I have no love for a t-shirt, like, there's some that I do like, some that I don't, more than others, but that's only because of my personal preference. Some I make for different purposes, but I don't give a shit. If it doesn't sell, I'm not married to it. It's gone. Peace out.
It's interesting because when we started this conversation, we talked about ego and, in the fitness industry and things like that. And then flipping to FKN Gym Wear, and you're saying that, you maybe should keep the ego at the door, which I agree with 100%. But you've still got an ego, right? Everyone does.
Absolutely.
When does yours come out?
Which one?
The ego.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I'm a show off. That's why I want to be a pro skateboarder. That's why I got on bodybuilding stages and stuff. I love that shit. I love, showing off all your hard work. I guess my ego comes out in a lot of ways when I drop a new design that I love. Like, I'll be the first one to say this is the greatest t-shirt ever made. It's fucking is to me. I think it is. I'll tell people that, I'm 130% convinced it is. This is the greatest shirt you'll ever wear. I've been saying that stuff for so long, it's funny. I just see a lot of the brands now, and as they were coming up behind me, just sort of doing the same stuff. And people have always said to me, it never seems genuine coming from a lot of other people, again, and that's only because they're copying someone else's voice. I think, I just think, yeah, you got to believe it. And I do. I think that's the greatest shirt I've ever made. I honestly do. That's why I made it, because I want it and I love it, and that's why I made it.
What do you think's the future of clothing lines in the next 10, 20 plus years?
I don't know. I mean, there's a new one every week, probably 10 new ones every week. I see them all the time. I was actually on which one was on the ABN lookup? I was looking up my ABN, funnily enough, and I put in FKN Gym Wear to get it for someone. And there was just streams of gym companies with the name Gym Wear or something in it coming up in this ABN lookup. And it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Not many of them will survive, mate. It's the same as anything, they seem like a good idea that they think that's all you have to do is print some shirts and you become this multimillionaire, whatever it is. It's not that at all. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, man. I spend most of my day talking to suppliers. I spend a lot of my time doing things that have nothing to do with t-shirts. Essentially, it's all business stuff. People don't get that straight off. They think
it's just not a catchy name and a cool shirt, is it? I mean, that's the end product. That's the bit the general public sees, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think everyone has an awesome selling t-shirt, and everyone does. I strongly believe that. There's something funny or something cool that they have. Can they build a brand from that? That's a different story. But definitely, you have the shirt. In terms of the future of the industry, I think it's like anything, mate. I remember 10 years ago they were saying, don't start a blog. There's too many blogs and stuff. And now, it's massive. It's still massive. It was massive then. It'll be massive then. Now it's massive now. It's the same with this. The cream rises to the top, Matt.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think too, what I've realized, and we've talked about consistency and stuff like that tonight. If all you're focused on is how you're going in regards to results, I think that's the wrong thing to be motivated by. Like, for example, I post 2 of these chats each and every week, and some do really, really well. And I'm sure lots of people will want to hear from you. But then I do some and, it gets 10 people listen to it. And if I was motivated by that, I would quit. I would stop. So it can't be about the end result, because you'll just ride this emotional wave and you'll give up. You'll be up and down like a yo-yo. And I get motivated by the conversations, what I learned from it, chatting with you tonight, the stuff I've learned tonight, what I've gotten out of tonight. That's the stuff that drives me, and hence why I'm happy to continue to do it, 2 chats a week, each and every week, because it's not about the end result. It's about all the other stuff that I get.
That's exactly it. Yeah. You have to be doing what you like doing. Yeah. And at the end of the day, even those videos that might not be doing so well now, the more of these you make, people go through your back catalogue, they'll spot them, and who knows, there was an audience for that one as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's always someone.
It's all about consistency, and I'll sometimes be tired or emotional or lazy, and I'll see something and they'll go, "This is the best way to build your following." And I'll go, "Oh," but I know it's just going to be bullshit. Because the sole way to do anything is just keep doing it day in, day out. Fall over, get up, learn the mistakes, keep going. And you've obviously proven that with what you do.
Yeah, just find out. It's just try new things and see what works.
See what sticks.
See what sticks. You just, again, as I said, any shirt I've made because I like it has always done better, and that comes across in my sales pitch of it as well. Because if I don't believe in it 100%, like I said, I've made it for different reasons. And it's like in anything you do. If you can't back it 100%. You're not going to be able to sell the thing. People see straight through you. But if you, like I said, you make something and you fucking believe that shit, like I do, and people get that. They see it. It sells itself. People feel it, and that's what you sell. You sell that feeling. You sell, like I said, when they wear that shirt, that's what they feel. It has nothing to do with it. Every design I've ever made has a story. There's a reason where it came from. I didn't just throw, a dart at a wall and print it on a shirt. And I try and convey that. Yeah, that might work, but but at the end of the day, it's like if people buy it because of the story. Say you're wearing one of my shirts and someone says, "Oh, that's a cool shirt." They go, "Oh yeah, no, this shirt, blah 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 blah." They'll tell their story of that shirt. It's not like, "Thanks," Exactly. There's actually a reason behind it.
There's a story behind it.
That's it, mate. And it's like anything. It's like if you hear a song on the radio, you've never heard of the artist before, but you hear the song, you're like, "That's a fucking cool song." You hear that song, that might inspire you to then look into who the person who wrote it is. And you're like, "Oh yeah, he's pretty rad." And then you might check out some more of his music, and it's sort of that snowball effect. And
exactly.
But providing there is a clear message and a clear story, and people can relate to it, and that's pretty much it. But it's putting yourself out there, I think, and
yeah, I like that,
mate. Back yourself.
100%. I'm very respectful of your time, so I've just got 1 or 2 more questions I wanted to ask you. You spoke about your retail partnerships with different businesses. I'm very respectful when I ask this question. What do you think is the future of retail stores for clothing in the next 10, 20 years?
I'll be honest, it's a hard one to say. We do a lot of drop shipping business now. That's kind of that's probably the fastest growing part of FKN Gym Wear, is our relationship with online drop shipping stores. In terms of retail itself, again, it comes back to why people should go into that store, and it's not about price, it's not about those things. Is it a destination? Is there a feeling when they go to that store, or do they turn up and the guy's sitting behind the counter eating chicken, or is he, you know what I mean? I've been to plenty of those stores, and it's awkward and stuff.
He doesn't even look up when you walk in.
Doesn't even look at you. Yeah. But Yeah, it's the same for any business, and I think retail is exactly the same. If they can create a cool atmosphere and an environment, and people want to be a part of it, people will come in there. It's as
Got it.
simple as that. And in general, it's tough to say. I think a lot of retail's slacked off, and a lot of these stores have focused on their online stores and dropped off on their retail side, and then they'll be the first one to say, "Oh, retail's dying." No, it's because you've been putting all of your energy into the online because you think that's what you have to do. Yes, you have to have it, but you have to balance it out, I think, if you want to keep that retail presence.
Yeah, you got to keep the energy.
I don't know. Yeah, so in saying that, I don't know. There's still plenty of shops. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but again, yeah, it hasn't declined for us, like the retail side of the business, what we sell wholesale to stores. We do continually push to grow it all. But it's not the fastest moving part of our business, that's for sure.
Mm. Did you ever think that you'd be in this position with the business?
Oh, not at all. No. No. I'm blessed. I'm so grateful every day, man. I've got a thing I write out every single day, where I live, what I own, what I drive, what I get to do each day, those sorts of things.
What do you drive?
I just got a Mercedes C63 AMG.
That's better than your uncle's, the accountant's BMW.
Yeah, I flex on them all day. BMWs hate me. I think there's a rivalry. I didn't actually know about it, but I think there's a genuine rivalry between BMW and Mercedes. I'd actually never owned a Mercedes before. I just saw this car. I thought, I need that. I had a Range Rover, and it was just, it's just offered. I'd had it so long, and I thought, shit, that's cool. So I bought one, and I'm learning these things. Yeah, everyone wants to race. I don't race.
Everyone wants to race
that shit. Everyone wants to race it. Sounds good though. Holy cow, I love it. But it's just I had no idea. Like I said, I didn't start a clothing brand, and I thought, but in saying that, man, I was repping, and this is like I'd started FKN Gym Wear. It was doing, like I said, it was growing pretty well considering the amount of effort I was putting in and stuff like that. I was out of my spare bedroom a couple hours a day, if that, and it was just a hobby. It's like some people play golf, some people were surfing, whatever. I was having fun riding, making T-shirts.
Exactly.
Stuff. And I was sitting in a mall one day because as a rep, you spend a lot of time in malls, and I saw this guy. He was probably like 65, and he was clearly a reps no reps. And I thought, I don't want to be that guy. I've got to do something else. I've got to find something else. And funnily enough, I got fired from that job because they thought I was spending all my time on FKN Gym Wear. And I looked at the numbers. It was doing enough money to pay my rent. It was, and live. So I thought, I'll give it a crack. And that's fine. And that's how I ended up doing it. And we're 4 years in full time now, and I'm killing it. So
that's great, mate.
I'm grateful to them for firing me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have done it, man. I don't think I would have pulled the trigger, funnily enough, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? We look back on moments in our lives, and I've had a few of them where you go, at the time, this is a tragedy, but you look back and go, you know what? That was probably the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah. No, I'm eternally grateful. And they brought me to Queensland. So
there you go.
I'm glad I got up here. And
it took you a long time to get into the real estate, mate.
It's all right up here, man. My family lives on Bribie Island, so I'm a lot closer to them now, and it's a good spot.
Bribie's nice.
Yeah, I might be heading up this weekend, actually, go and sleep on my mum's floor. That's pretty much it. Whenever I'm here, I just work. I'm in my office now.
Yeah.
Work. I go to mum's, I talk for half an hour, fall asleep on the floor, and then she makes me food. It's the best.
That's the best thing about mum's, the dinner time.
It's the next place I relax. It actually shut off. It's good. And then she wants to go for a drive and hear my car. Yeah.
Hear the Merc.
Hear the Merc. Brum brum. Yeah.
Hey, last one, mate. Why did you change your name on social media?
Oh, my name's Jonny Benjamin London, and I don't know. I just thought Jonny London sounds cooler. I'm going to run that.
But why be Ben London before that? Was there a reason?
That anonymity as well, and I always thought Jonny London sounded like a douchebag. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run it.
He's all right. He's a nice guy.
He's all right. But people say it was funny because you go to the gym and they, you know, you had to give your proper name when you sign up and stuff. People were like, "Oh, you sound like a porn star." I'm like,
You sound like you're out of the Sex Pistols, Jonny London.
pretty much. No, I like it. So yeah, no, I've just changed it all back over, and yeah, I'm just going to run it till the wheels fall off. And
So
I like that name.
it's Jonathan Benjamin London.
Johnny, Jonny.
Johnny's your actual birth certificate name.
That's it. Yeah, no H. I always have to say it. No H.
No.
Yeah. It's fucking Jonny London. It sounds cool. I don't know. Maybe I've grown into Jonny London, what it is. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, I always played it in the back. I always just on the down low. I let my work speak for itself, but I think I want to get out there more and plug it. And I think it's a cool brand in itself. So
it is. Yeah, you definitely look like a Jonny London.
I've got my Ray-Bans, killing it.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure chatting to you tonight. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Not at all. Now, if someone wants to get one of your shirts, and they're not allowed to have a small lazy shirt because that's mine, but
yeah, I'll find one.
Yeah,
I might have a Juicy Jordan laying around too. I'll
check. There you go. What's the website called?
FKNGymwear.com. That is it. Or on Instagram, same thing. FKN Gym Wear, Facey,
Snapchat,
Twitter,
all
YouTube,
over it.
Google Plus.
And they can get your blog on. They can get your blog on the website too, right?
On the website, yeah, you can subscribe there. I'm dropping like a Jonny London blog every week, and then we also do the FKN Gym Wear newsletter one as well. So I try and have a laugh in there. It's fun. Talk about what's coming up and stuff.
Fantastic. Thanks again, mate. We'll catch up.
My pleasure, Matt. Thank you. Bye-bye. I don't know how to end it, though.
I got it. See ya.